Alright, so what gonna happen if the both engine in your airplane got failed? You're gonna figure out in this video. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. My name is Derry. I'm a private pilot and will be instrument pilot sooner. Alright, so welcome to another informative video. Now, not a dual engine failure have happened, and that's a good thing. There's only a probably you can count on your both hands the amount of time a plane has lost both engines. So dual engine failure very unusual and highly unlikely occurrence. So it probably wouldn't be like that every time you got in the plane and you got an engine failure, especially a dual engine failure. One of the most common causes of engine failure is that something got into the engine air intake. Talking about a little bit working of jet engines. Jet engine work by mixing fuel with the air and igniting it. The force of this explosion starting a plane to push away through the air. The jet engine needs an opening to maintain the proper airflow through the engine. A constant airflow is needed to run the engine more effectively. In the airplane, the most common causes of engine failure is a bird strike. Birds is the most significant hazard. In average, a 34 bird strike happens in a single day with the airline's aircraft. Hailstones and volcanic ash are bad too, but it not always happen because of the bird strikes. It would usually be just a mechanical failure. That's the main reason it happens. But there are other reasons like fuel leaks, fuel contamination, and foreign object getting through the air intake. In the aviation, we talk about two types of engine failure. First is contained and another is uncontained engine failure. Contained when engine blows up, but all the broken pieces stay within the engine. And uncontained failure when engine blows up and all the broken pieces explode out of the casing. When it's contained, you have problem, but when it's uncontained, you have a huge problem. Either way, you have problem. So what happens when engine fails, especially when dual engine fail? Well, it's not always that you're gonna die. But if you look at instances when engine have failed in passenger jet, there have been some good outcomes. As I told you before, engine failure could be an equipment failure on a plane itself, typically on the fuel lines or other engine components. Regardless of the cause, the effects are same across the board. When an engine fails or flame out occur, the pilot first action will be to perform memory items like reduce the throttle to the idle position or cut off the flow of fuel of that particular affected engine. After performing the memory items, the pilot can perform their abnormal or normal engine failure checklist, and after saving the engines, the pilot can inform the cabin crew or all the passengers on board of the current emergency and make a normal descent to a lower altitude as crew figure out what exactly went wrong, and then the pilot can make an emergency diversion to the nearest airport as soon as possible. The FAA requires commercial plane to be able to fly and land safely with only one engine operational. An emergency responder will be standing by under the ground in case of something goes wrong. Engine failure is not a laughing matter, but neither is it catastrophic. So it's not like that at all. Your plane gonna fall down after engine failure, specifically when the time of dual engine failure. But trust me, planes are pretty good staying up in the air without any engines. So planes have wings, so it can still glide without any engines. But as I told you, dual engine failure is very unusual and highly unlikely occurrence. But the single engine failure could be happens anytime. It's not a guarantee. This kind of total failure is extremely unlikely. But there have been some isolated incidents of that very thing happening to the aircraft in flight. For example, Air Canada Flight 143 suffered with a dual engine failure a couple of years back. If I'm guessing properly, that was in 1983. I don't know properly, that was in 1983. That was my rough idea, because my work is to fly a plane, not to count the series of incidents and accidents in aviation history. Am I right? A series of problems including technical issues, missed radio comms, maintenance error, and faulty metric conversion led to the plane leaving the tarmac without enough fuel to reach their destination. But unfortunately, this led to further problems. While passing over the Red Lake, Ontario, an alarm sounded in the cockpit as a caution message. At first, pilots thought it was a problem with the fuel systems, but within the second rerouting with the Winnipeg, they lost their left engine. After some time later, pilot figured out they lost their right engines too. Oh boy, now it's a problem. So you might be thinking at the time of dual engine failure, this flight fallen like an aluminum rock. Well, the answer is no. Doesn't matter if you lost your both engine or one engine, the plane still can glide. the wings is still there to produce enough lift for the aircraft. Running out of fuel also caused the Flight 143 to lose all the power, instruments, and radios. During the final approach, Flight 143 lost its all power, but this time it was due to aircraft reduced velocity. Despite pilot's best efforts, the plane was able to make emergency landing with only minor damage. Now, you might have noticed tons of other problems led to Air Canada Flight 143 emergency landing. This near disaster was the result of unlikely sequence of events. Now, I think it gave you a little bit idea how many different things to go wrong before go complete engine failures. Nowadays, aircraft has to go through tighter regulation and improved maintenance, somehow mitigated the risk of engine failure, but still have a problem with the birds, which is unpredictable and happens so frequently. Let me tell you a famous miracle maybe you know. Miracle in Hudson River. In January 2009, an Airbus A320 shortly after takeoff from LaGuardia, New York, encountered with the bird strike. As a result, both engines got failed. But then the captain, Sully Sullenberger, made a terrifying decision to land on Hudson River. That's the only one they got, because they haven't any other alternative. Then the captain Sully decided to make a risky water landing in the nearby Hudson River. But despite the low temperature and extreme difficulty in landing, all the passengers and crew were safely evacuated, while many people had to treat it with hypothermia. But only 5 of them were considered severe. Multiple engine failure have a potential to be dangerous, but not every single engine failure is dangerous. The pilots are trained to do so don't worry about it. So in conclusion, there's a small chance your plane engine can fail, but you likely get down safe. Alright, have you ever been in a plane when this happened? Just let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to check out another one on the channel. I hope you enjoy with me again. So once again, welcome aboard.